Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. I want to ask you guys a question. What would you do if the grid went down right about now? Would you really be ready? Let's say in this theoretical scenario, the grid went down for about 7 days or so. You didn't know it was going to be down for 7 days. Actually, no, let's make it a little more challenging. How about a month? Grid's going down for a month. You don't know when it's coming back on, so perhaps you think it's just another power outage. How do you find out if it's just a power outage? Where are you going to get information from? Are you going to go to your radio? Are you going to hope for an emergency broadcast? What's the first thing you're going to do when the lights go out? That's what I'm wanting to know. Because no matter how prepared we are, it seems that Murphy's Law dictates that these things are always going to catch us off guard, that no matter how prepared you are, there's an aspect of shit hits the fan that's going to be unexpected. I mean, it has to be, right? It wouldn't be shit hits the fan if it wasn't. So, you know, you got to ask yourself, is it grocery day tomorrow? You know, where are you? Is the food out of, or is the food out of house? Is the house out of food? Asides your long-term stores, of course, which I would hope that people have. Is there gas in your car? You know, I mean, gas in Canada right now, it's lower than it was, 15 years ago. It's crazy right now. So there's really no excuse to not be gassed up all the time. You know, are you really going to be ready? Where are you going to be when it goes down? What if you're standing in line in a Walmart, you know? Probably shouldn't be shopping there anyways, but you know, you should be supporting your local markets, I guess. Maybe that would be karma for you. I mean, I go there once in a while. You have no choice, right? Well, you do have a choice, but you know how it is. So, you know, yeah, where are you going to be? You know, are you going to be in the hospital wait room? Maybe, you know, you're going to be in rush hour traffic and the traffic lights just stop and it's gridlock and it's just not going to move. And you have to get out of your car. You're stuck on the freeway or something like that, and there's no way to go. You can't go forward, you can't go backwards, can't go sideways. What are you going to do? Obviously, you're going to have some contingency plan. What if it's really cold out? And it was that one day you thought, well, I don't need to wear my jacket today. You know? Are you expecting that someone's going to come and help you? Shit, it could happen at any point in time, you know? You could be knee-deep in griddom when it goes down. You know, hopefully it's right after you hang the gas pump, put the nozzle back on the rack there at the gas station. Hopefully it's timed out just like that. It's perfect, you know. Chances are it's not going to be, though. That's the whole nature of disaster, is that it's, for the most part, unexpected, with the exception of some of the more incremental disasters like pandemic or economic collapse, things of that nature, which are perhaps more slow going. War, even to some extent, but nowadays, of course, nuclear war would be pretty quick, pretty swift escalation, and there wouldn't be much time to prepare. Even weather in some instances can be predicted, evacuation orders and stuff like that. But chances are, for the big stuff, you're not going to get a warning. You're certainly not going to get a warning if there is a impending World War III. You're certainly not going to get a warning if there was a comet, a quote-unquote terrorist attack, false flag, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to get a warning. You might not even get a warning for some sort of, really highly virulent pandemic that just sort of springs up in a bunch of different places at once. You're not going to get a warning of that. Volcanoes, big stuff, earthquakes, never going to get a warning for that kind of thing. You might, depending on, how meteorologically sophisticated whichever country is that it happens in, but chances are you won't. So I don't know, I just thought I would, pose a theoretical, because it's something I usually think about, especially if you're stuck in a crowd somewhere, if you're in a stadium, or if you're in a big event where you're sort of naked in a way, where your jacket's been checked in, and you're sort of at the whim of whatever organization or structured event that you're partaking in. A stadium would be the worst place to be, man. Holy shit. Can you imagine that? I mean, yeah, they're probably going to have some emergency lighting. Hopefully it's enough to get everybody to file out single file. But you know how these things go. Chances are people are going to be rushing to the doors, and it's not going to be that nice. I mean, if you look at your day and you break up your day and you do the math, say you spend an average of 12 to 14 hours a day at home, 8 hours of that you're asleep. So, I mean, the odds are, if it happens, you're going to be at home, depending on how much you work, and then you got to factor in your commuting. Well, if you're commuting 2 hours a day, there's a good chance it could happen while you're commuting. There's a good chance it could happen while you're at work. A really good chance. I mean, if you're only home for half the day, the average person probably only home for about half the day, 12 hours a day. I don't know what the average is. I guess you'd have to do your own average. But chances are you're not going to be home. You're not going to be by all your goodies. You're going to be away from your home base and ideal circumstances. So you should have a plan for, and something perhaps even beyond just your standard everyday carry, but maybe even do some drills, like if you were at work, something happened, how would you respond? What would especially if you have people in different places, if You know, the wife's at work and the kids are at school, or maybe the kid was out. You know, I know you can't prepare for everything, but, you know, it's a good idea to sort of think about those things, just so that if it did happen, you know, you wouldn't be caught off guard so much. And chances are, you know, the way these things work out is if you prepare for it, it's not going to happen. You know, it's Murphy's Law. When you don't prepare for it, when you don't expect it, shit just seems to happen, you know. Those things always happen when you least expect them. You know, disaster strikes. It's like, it's a roll of the dice almost. And it's never going to happen when you want it to. It's never going to happen when you're sitting there cleaning your guns, just having organized your preps, just having, you know, sat down and with the family and discussed emergency preparedness, and just after you took that first aid course, or, you know, while it's still fresh in your mind. It's never going to happen when you want it to. So hence the importance of adaptability and creativity, as I talked about before. Anyways, I just thought I would pose that theoretical scenario to you guys, and I ask you, like right now, right when this video cuts off, imagine that the power went out and you didn't know how long it was coming back for, but it wasn't going to be back for a month. How long would you make it? What would be lacking in your plan? That's something you may want to focus on for the future of your prepping endeavors. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.